What's up, military millionaires? Today, I want to talk to you about the best lead source for wholesalers. And this is one of the best lead sources that I've ever utilized. And there's a couple reasons that I think it's one of the best ways to start looking for leads for off-market deals as a wholesaler. And we're going to dig into a little bit of why that is. And then obviously I'm going to mention it and we're going to leave a link down below so that if you want to check it out, you can. Okay, now to kind of bring this home, let me ask you a question. Have you ever received phone calls from a telemarketer? And if so, did you enjoy them? Did you feel like you wanted to sell? Were you all of a sudden super motivated to sell your house or buy the water softener that they were selling or whatever you were getting called about? Probably not, because cold calling, when you're talking as like a wholesaler, it's a great lead source. And don't get me wrong, I have three cold callers and they're phenomenal. And I utilize them. They call 20, 30,000 people a month, but of that we might get 100 leads, right? So a very small percentage. And of those 100 leads, we might get 2 or 3 deals, maybe, because a very large portion of those leads are people who you called and said, are you interested in selling your house for a fair cash offer? And they say, sure, come out and tell me what my house is worth. And they're tire kickers, right? They aren't actually motivated to sell the house so much as like, well, sure, if you give me the right price, come on out. And then, you know, you're gonna not give them the right price because they want 10 times what their house is worth. And it is what it is. So a lot of those leads are gonna be, I don't want to say subpar, because overall you're still gonna do very well. I love cold calling. This is not a bash, but they're just not as hot, right? Direct mail is a little bit hotter because those people had to pick up the phone and call you. So they got your letter and they picked up the phone and called you. And unless they're the like 20% that says to go screw yourself, they are at least going to talk to you, right? Because they reached out to you. So there is some level of motivation there. It's not necessarily as hot as the one we're about to talk about, but it's probably warmer than the cold call leads. So to break this out, my cost per deal on cold call and direct mail is very similar, but it's a whole lot more cold call leads to contract than it is direct mail. So we get a much smaller response in direct mail, but they're more motivated, and that's fine. Both work great. Now, the next piece that we're going to talk about is PPC, or pay per click advertising. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this, and the reason this is effective is because, well, imagine you're about to get foreclosed on and you don't know what to do. So you could call the bank, but what most people do is they then jump on Google and they say, how do I sell my house? Or I'm about to get foreclosed on, or what do I do in this situation? And if you have advertisements running and an SEO running for that, then they may find your website or your advertisement, and they'll go in there and they'll fill out the form and click on it, and you will get a notification. These are much more motivated than most of your leads, because these are people who are like, I need to sell my house fast. My tenant trashed my house. I'm gonna get foreclosed on. I want to avoid probate because so-and-so died and probate's terrible. So I know I need to get rid of this house quickly. How do I do that? They are actively searching for somebody like you to come solve their problem. So they're very highly motivated. So while you may get a much smaller amount of leads and they will cost more per lead, your actual cost per contract might actually drop because every 2 or 3 leads might lead to a deal. And so there's a couple of ways you can do this. One is, and I recommend this if you're getting to be a larger organization, is to do actual pay-per-click ads where you pay somebody to run your advertisements. They run them on Google, they advertise, they run everything, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of have some active control over the campaign and what works and what doesn't work. And you can tweak keywords, and it's in-house and everything's great and super customizable and super optimized. But the downside to that is that you're gonna pay for that. So right now I pay $997 a month for the team to run the ads. And then I have a $2,000 a month advertising budget. And so right there, that could be $2,000 or $3,000 spent on these advertisements that may or may not work. Now, I've been doing that for 3 weeks and I just got my first lead, because it takes time to build that up. And I don't know how hot that lead is, but that's how that works. Now, the other way to do this, which is the one that I think is the best lead source for wholesalers, is something called Need to Sell My House Fast leads. And that's the name of the website, Need to Sell My House Fast. And what this team does is they have, across the entire country, they run advertisements. And they run advertisements through Google and through, whatever. So they have all these marketing channels and all these advertising channels, and through SEO and PPC and advertisements, they, from this massive pool of people, pull and get all of these leads. And then what they do is they sell those leads to you, the end user, at a markup. Now, your cost per lead is most likely going to be a lot higher with this model than if you're running the pay-per-click ads yourself. But you can set it to where you have a $300 budget per month and you get 1 or 2 leads per month and don't have to worry about $997 in upfront fees no matter what every month and $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 marketing budget. So the risk exposure when you're first getting started is minimal. So if I'm a new wholesaler and I'm like, man, I want to find some off-market deals, how do I do that? This is perfect because you can literally sign up with the link down below, and then you go in and you say, hey, for this county, I'm willing to pay this much per lead. And then, okay, you set it and you say, my budget is this. So for right now, I say, hey, one of my counties, I think we're at $225 per lead, and one of my counties, I think we're at $125 per lead. The lowest they go is $75 a lead, and then the highest it goes really depends, because what happens is you can bid against each other. So there's one other person in my market who we at one point were bidding each other up, and we got to like $350 per lead. And I actually backed off all the way to 100, and then he came back and we tied at 125 because I realized, like, hey, I would rather just be tied at the first place bid than just keep bidding this up with somebody who's not going to let me be the first place. And so there's a little bit of a game there, but what you can do is you can set a limit. So I have a $1,000 a month limit, and so if we at 225 I get 4 leads, and at 125 I can get 8 leads, and that's it, right? And I can get some mix in there, and if I want to increase that budget, I can if they're working, and if I want to decrease that budget so I only get 1, 2, 3 leads at the beginning of the month, but my budget is minimal, awesome. So what you could do is you could go to this website, check out their cost in your county or counties, and then you can go in and tweak how much you're willing to bid and then your max budget, and you're only gonna pay for it when you get a lead. So yes, there's a really good chance that you pay more per lead, but you're not spending thousands of dollars on marketing and hoping it works. You're only spending money the moment somebody's actually a hot lead. And the nice thing with this platform is that if they have a bad phone number or not a phone number, or the property's already listed on the market, or there's a couple of different reasons where if you call and it's just not actually a good lead, then you can just tell the company within, I think, 48 hours, 24, 48 hours, you hit them up, and it's really simple. You go on the website, you just say, hey, I want to dispute this one, and here's why. They have like 5 or 6 drop-down boxes, and they'll refund you for it. And that's it. So as long as the lead is a good lead or qualified lead, you're good. And if not, then you don't pay for it. So the risk is very minimal. So to recap, the 3 reasons that I really like Need to Sell Your House leads are that you only pay for leads once you receive them. They are highly motivated. They are highly motivated leads, and they come to you. So these are people who are looking for you to help them and have them solve your problem, and you only have to pay if they actually reached out to you and got a hold of you. And so the risk there for marketing and the fear and the starting budget is super, super low. And so, as long as you're going to stay out of my market, I recommend that you check these out. And if you are, then tie my bid. Don't bid me up, you jerks. But this is such a great platform. And this is like one of those lead sources that nobody wants to talk about. And I love it. So again, I will leave the link down below. And full disclosure, it's an affiliate link. And if you watched my video the other day about affiliates, You understand why I'm doing that. But the way that this one works is if you sign up under me, whenever you pay for a lead, I get a little bit of a credit towards a lead. So you could help me lower my budget or purchase one more lead every month. And then if you have a friend that you recommend, same thing. So like if you're part of a group of investors that don't know about this, like throw it out to them. Now maybe you're getting free leads too. And so it's a cool little platform. So yeah, again, you only pay for them if you're using them. They're motivated, and you can set your own budget and your own ceiling. So it's pretty low risk for these leads. And that's why I think they're the best leads for wholesalers, and also the least talked about. So definitely check it out. And if you want some more wholesaling content, let me know, and we'll post it out there for the world to see.